welcome to Day Out of Time. We have a very special guest, Sacha Stone and RuBen.
Hello, Sacha. Happy day out of time. Thank you for accepting this invitation. And thank you for all the work that you have been doing all these years to bring some awareness to the planet.
Can you mention to us on the 20th?
Thank you, RuBen. Thank you, Milana.
RuBen, can you share with us on the cycle that you're going through? Why is it makes it so special, the 28th?
Yeah, we were speaking with Milana and Sacha before starting the interview that this is the 28th version of Day Out of Time. So it's the wrapping up of 4 cycles of 7 years. And this 2020 is bringing us like an opportunity to see ourselves in the mirror. This Day Out of Time is white magnetic mirrors. We are entering the mirror axis of the Solkin matrix, and we want to know, how do you perceive the current planetary situation? What's your take on what is going on and what is holding the future?
Very good. I knew Jose Arguelles. He came and stayed at my home in Bali about 10 years ago, before he died. And it was from him that I learned a great deal, obviously, from the harmonic convergence to the Day Out of Time, 1992. And like you say, 28 years of that extraordinary celebration, which was really beginning the process of learning how to step out of time. And I think that that is the beautiful gift of learning about these cycles, that we are the ones who can determine to withdraw our attention and our enslavement to the fiction of a reality which was orchestrated for us by many old imprints and codes, which were not very friendly to the living soul, but were very friendly to egregore and to other interests. Now, where are we in 2020? We are at that perfect, indivisible line between the fictitious and the real, between the living and the dead, between the masked and the unmasked. And this is the beauty of what we are seeing all around the world today, with the symbols of death, disease, fiction. These are ideas, bad ideas. They don't truly exist. They only become existent when enough people place attention toward these bad ideas, and then they manifest. Now, we have had a galactic cycle of sleep, of war, of disease, and of poverty. And we are now tired of that. And we simply need to transmute this bad dream into the good dream. This is the old world versus the new earth. We are coming also, don't forget, out of a 500-year cycle of enslavement to monotheistic religious bullshit. The Roman Catholic Church, all of the monotheistic religions created a false imprint also at the psychological and spiritual level. And again, we see the catastrophic failure of the global banking system, of the Vatican, of the European royalty, of the old order and the old principalities. This is a beautiful, beautiful time of celebration. This is the time for us to not fall back into enslavement to the apocalyptic ideas, but instead to recognize that the apocalypse is the greatest gift. It is where we come of age. In the same way that in 1987, in August, on that most propitious day, when the First Nation peoples of the world, from Papua New Guinea to Mozambique to Alaska, they all knew in their psionic center, in this true gut, they knew we were moving into the transition. And what happened on that day of the harmonic convergence? Millions and millions of wisdom keepers, flame keepers, oracles, shaman, of the First Nations, they all picked up that psionic message and they stood up and they saluted the sky on that day. Central Sun, 1987, was an incredibly important day. And when I sat down with Jose Arguelles under the stars here in Bali 10 years ago, and I asked him the question, I said, Jose, what was taking place on that day? Even now, the harmonic convergence is regarded as the single biggest organic event that occurred in our history. That's well known. I said, what was happening on that day at the metadimensional level? And he had his wand and he said, oh, it's very simple. He said, on that day, we were standing up, all of us, the First Nation peoples, to salute our sky brothers and sisters and to tell them, enough, we can take it from here. We have come of age. And that is the truth. 1987 was where we began to get onto our feet. 2012 was when the galactic audit was conducted across the symphony of the human collective heart. And we passed that test. I was in Chichen Itza, and that was the last time I saw my beloved Milana. Actually was in 2012. I had been at Chichen Itza at the ceremony there with the Mayans. And I tell you what, we had an incredible day. And from 2012 to 2020 to now, right now, this is the end of that long cycle. This is where not only do we come of age and do we fully stand on our feet, this is where we actually tear the mask off our face. The reason why billions of people are wearing masks on their face today because of this corona pantomime is symbolic of that deep unresolved aspect of the collective and at the individual level. We are each of us seeking to release ourselves from the ritual humiliation of ages. We are wanting now, each of us, to tear that mask off. That is why many people are wearing the mask. They need to see themselves with it on in the mirror for a period of time to recognize how they are the ones who have taken a departure from their own reason, from their own conscience, and from consciousness itself. So what is going to come out from this pantomime, this theatrical production that we are seeing, is the living will emerge from the land of the dead. The organic and the sentient, like the diamond in the coal, will emerge from this shadow boxing that is going on. All of the symbols are beautiful around us. The geometry of now is always perfect, always, provided each of us are able to maintain a state of perfect balance within and a state of witness. Do not identify with the symbols, with the totems, with the ideas. They are all in a state of, tribulation, pandemonium, chaos. This is how the old Babylonian priesthood always created new spells to cast a new dream spell over humanity, always by orchestrating the chaos. And only in the chaos did they know they could create a new agenda, create a new software installation, a new program. Not this time. That's over. That is the beauty of 2020. It is inner sight. It is the clarifying of the inner lens of those of us who are truly joining our galactic brothers and sisters. And I can tell you absolutely, there are sufficient numbers of us who have awakened all around the world. The war is already won. A few little battles here and there, but the war is won. And it's a beautiful, beautiful outcome.
Thank you. Thank you. That's amazing words and great to hear from someone like you who knows all the levels of deception in this hologram that is bringing that we are bringing now all these aspects of the Gregorian calendar and as part of that entanglement and of tools that we have been subjected to, and that this is the time to free ourselves and to liberate from these shackles. So what is the vision that you hold for the future in starting this day out of time? How do you see this transformation, this shift, paradigm shift taking place on an bird's eye view?
Let me ask the staff to stop sweeping one moment. Sorry, I just had to ask him to stop sweeping the garden for a moment. You know, it is not, my vision is no different today than it was 10 years ago. It is absolutely the same. It is an invitation to myself first, and then to those that I impact, and then to the human family at large. It is an invitation to step out of the fiction of time. This 1260 time signature is the toxin. This is the source code of war and disease and poverty. If you truly sit with the idea of time, tick-tock, 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 it is a false program that has been installed a long time ago in order to remove humanity from the land, to break our relationship with the natural cycles and rhythms and circadian rhythms and cycles, the galactic cycles. It is a perfect intercessionary principle to stand between us and our divinity. This idea that we are running out of time and that we need to calibrate our lives according to a clock, which is a false signature anyway, takes us away from the 13-month lunar calendar into a 12-month calendar, a complete false program, which at the psychological and spiritual level dislocates us, throws us into dystopia and dysfunction, individually and collectively. This was very, very clever Babylonian magic. And of course, the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican took center stage in creating this false narrative using the Julian calendar and the 1260 time signature. So if we know in our deepest knowing that the idea of time is what programs death into the DNA, which it is the idea of time that sits inside us from our very birth all the way through to the last moments of our life when we feel the spirit leaving us. And even then we are looking at the clock going, how much time do I have left? How many more minutes can I be in the embrace of my beloved? This is nonsense. All of it is a bad idea. But you get enough people, enough human dynamos, capacitors of life force. That is what a human is. We are like a nuclear power station. Every human being, each one has the capacity using the vibro prana to drive the entire electrification of the planet. We are so incredibly powerful. Now, when you take billions of human beings or hundreds of millions and you subvert their attention, their consciousness into false ideas, they project that plasma, that chi, that prana toward these ideas, and they give life to bad ideas that are dead, but they create the idea of life. So we are the ones who are allowing ourselves to be harvested in order that our life force, our attention, even our tax dollars pays for these bad ideas to become manifest. Stop. It is just a question of recognizing this, that I am the flame. I am the divine. I am the capacitor of all that is. I am. That's it. And I withdraw my attention from bad ideas and bad people and bad concepts and bad dreams. And I begin in this place to dream wisely. And in doing that, my attention, my life force moves toward this new manifest outcome. Every time it happens this way, humans steer the planet. We steer the climate. We steer all the outcomes. The problem is most of us, most of the time, do not know that it is us who are manifesting the outcomes. We assume that we are victims of circumstance, that we are simply pulled into this. All of these ideas must leave us now. We must release ourselves from this fiction. We are the living, we are not the dead. The old bad ideas are perfectly enshrined with the idea of time. Do not look at a clock. It is death. Do not look at a wristwatch. Take it off. I urge people. Remove yourself from this TikTok mania. It is death. Happy birthday? No, I don't think so. Birthday celebrations? I don't think so. Again, we are programming death into our children from a young age. We are programming into them the idea that they are now 5, 6, 7. They're running out of time. How many kids at the age of 22 are in a state of paranoia because they think they've already lived their youth? I speak to so many young people who think at the age of 18, 19, 20, it's over. They'll never be 15 again. They'll never, all these ideas. We are enslaved to this all because of the idea of time. Stop programming death into DNA by celebrating time. Only celebrate the geometry of now. Only celebrate the geometry of now. And if one can do that, one enters into the immanent, immortal paradigm. As an individual, you can begin that journey into immortality. You do not need to have anyone agree with this. This is the true hallmark of the shaman throughout the ages, to be able to step into timelessness and suspend the aging process, suspend all of the death coding in our gene expression. We have the power to do it. When we collectively do it, we change the entire holonomic field. And we are on the verge of that. I guarantee you, RuBen, within 7 years, linear years of now, within 7 linear years, certainly within 10, we will absolutely see the end of all government. There will be no such fiction as government any longer. There will be no central banking, or banking itself will become a thing of the past. Usury, the exploitation of the time and motion of humanity, will no longer be permissioned in this world. All of the merchant class of intercessionaries, in lawyers and doctors and teachers who are not standing in the flame of wisdom and truth, will no longer have any place in this world. Everyone must begin to transition themselves from their false light into the wisdom flame. That is, lawyers, bankers, teachers, everyone must now look to themselves and go, am I living in my bliss? Am I surfing my bliss? Have I entered the ecstatic, the orgasmic, or not? And if your life is not orgasmic, you have fucked up. You must, at that point, recognize that the change must come from you. We are born to this world to depart from fiction, to manifest and embody the highest, most noble expression we are capable of. We will come under fire. There will be people around us who turn on us and attack us. They will defile us. They will slander us. They will constantly try to destroy the beauty that we are trying to manifest in this world. You must continue to walk in a straight line. Do not pay attention to the white noise. Conduct right action and pure truth. And that is the navigation system to manifest the perfect outcome in the new earth.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. And this kind of brings me to the Tibetan teachings that I've been following. And so as we are coming out of the Kali Yuga, I believe, the Kali Yuga is the main pervading energy, is feeding ignorance and greed, right? And with the hungry ghost with a thin throat that tries to eat and can't swallow, and now everyone's gripping to those material possessions. But now, since we're transitioning and we're still in the Kali Yuga, we're kind of going through this birthing process and going into the Satya Yuga, which is the golden age, which is the highest, and now you see the wisdom and the magic is returning, right? You see ayahuasca and the teachings and yoga, like when 100, 200 years ago, you would be burned at the stake for practicing magic, but now everyone's, you know, trying to embody all these teachings. They're coming back. And so I really appreciate that to help the awakening process is the Buddha Dharma Sangha concept. The Buddha is the enlightened nature that exists within all of us, and Dharma is the universal guides to, and Sangha is the enlightened community of friends that help us get there. So it's a matter of the Sangha that we keep re-looping these conditionings back forth to each other. And so that's why it's so important that we create those Sanghas and the new earth and facilitate consciousness in places where then we can come together and reflect our pure essence to each other, and practice it and remember it through each other, right? As the Inlakesh. So thank you. You are my Inlakesh, and you are the Sangha and the community that are watching and planting the seeds and holding these visions together for the earth on this day to reflect back, so that we use our plasma to facilitate the highest state and form of being for all humans.
Thank
So
you.
be it.
So be it. And will you ever reveal your kin, or it's a secret? I'm just curious.
Yellow overtone warrior.
Yellow overtone. I'm a yellow self-existing star.
Red
And
Solar Skywalker.
yeah, and the day that we met is actually when he turned into my Lakesh, the yellow self-existing star. So it was very serendipitous, confirming that there is divine intelligence orchestrating this whole.
Guiding us.
Yeah, so even though in the darkness of times, we have to remember that we are still guided, protected, and it will all come to fruition in its time, right?
Yes. And before saying goodbye, for those who want to know more about what you are doing and what projects are you working on, what link should they go, or what is your current website?
It's too confusing. There's too many right now. I think people just find with their psionic intelligence, just intuit your way. If you're interested in anything I'm doing, I'm more interested in law than anything else. This is my main focus, is law and natural justice, especially as it relates to the First Nation peoples. This is the big focus of mine that I'm involved with now. And for the next couple of years, I will be focused almost entirely on creating remedy and soliciting remedy for the, I've spoken about this many times, the papal bulls of discovery and the enslavement that was cast by the Vatican and the Roman Catholic Church. Those canons or canon laws are still in place. So the spells, the spell binding is still connected to the earth, and those spells need to be unlocked. So for me, this is a matter of law and application of natural justice to be able to unlock the spell binding that was cast really in the last 500 years against the black skin, brown skin, yellow skin and red skin people, but also against the white skin people. If you understand about what happened in 1472 with Pope Nicholas and King Alfonso in Portugal, that Dom Diversas is a key area of focus, that one of the justices of the International Tribunal has taken up that mantle, and I'm planning to be very involved in helping that revelation to come to the world, because we have to unlock ourselves from the spells that have been cast by the Babylonian masters. They are now of no consequence, all of them. They are of no consequence at all. But the spells that were cast are still intact in some extent, and we need to simply go and unlock and disentangle many of those spells now. That is the importance of enlightenment. That's the importance of consciousness in action, where we place our attention and we release ourselves from these old stories. That for me is very important. Also breakthrough innovation and technologies that will remedy the air, the soil, and the water, especially the frequency radiations that are still also entrapping our world into the Atlantean myth. The fallen light of Atlantis is still holding mutancy in the field. And that is why we have death, decay, and disease in this world. So there is a spiritual dimension to it, which is the spells and the spell binding cast by governments and by religions and by bad history. But also there is real physical material threats against us, the isotopes, the frequency invasion, the mutations at the atomic and cellular level in the air, the water, and the soil. All of these can be remediated. We have the technology now and the capacity now to be able to create a remediation of all of these mutant patterns of imperfection, and to allow for the patterns of perfection that self-exist in this world to reveal themselves. That is the prime focus that I'm interested in. It's metaphysical, but it's also very practical in its application. Thank you for asking.
Thank you as an Overton warrior for taking the fight in the courts and in bringing natural law again to the surface, because it has been covered by these artificial laws and common law. And thank you so much for also bringing this awareness to this large audience that today is celebrating the Out of Time, peace through culture, and today we're planting the seeds of the future. So this is a great way to really bring this awareness to millions of people who still today are unaware of these tools of manipulation and deceptions. So thank you so much for this awareness, and it's a pleasure to have you today.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
In la
Thank you. Thank you. Much love. Bye-bye.